And so you'll probably see this blow up pretty quick. Yeah, you can see they're blowing things up. So I kind of want to see what goes on here. Boom! Hello everyone, my name is Adreden, and today we are going to be working on a bridge killing corridor. This is a type of base that is, yeah, inspired by that, but it doesn't have some of the limitations of having some of these pillars in it that can be damaged by the zombies as much. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so as you can see, I've used metal blocks on these. This one here is a type of truss. These blocks can support a lot of weight and can be extended out pretty far. Okay, so this means that, you know, if you're going to be standing here, you don't need to have pillars anywhere in this area where the zombies might come after you and, you know, try to break that down. And so that's good. You can also see that there's this trench down here. Now, part of this is that you could, in theory, build yourself a very deep little hole here if you wanted to. I mean, it's up to you and how much time you have. But what is nice is that the zombies fall down here, and then they come back up and they're like, 2 blocks, that's too high. Plus, it's not really where I want to go. So they come down this corridor here, this little, you know, ditch, and it's on both sides, and it comes out just a little bit past this, which means they're up over here. And then the next easy way to get to you, of course, is up here. They could go this way, but they're not going to get to you, because if they go down here, they realize that, you know, they would just kind of end up in the same spot and not be ultimately any closer to you. So I've put these up here. These are kind of useless on this particular part. The zombies have been ending up just breaking the top row. Like if I put on a second row, they break them and then they just run on top, but then they come down here and fall down. Now if they do land here, which they have done, sometimes they'll hit these, which is why you can change these out to a different type of block. You could put in, say, like half blocks or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal, but oftentimes we get one zombie running over here and they kind of realize, hey, there's a ditch here. That's not really gonna do me much good. And then they're gonna run back over here and maybe fall in the ditch, maybe they'll run beside the ditch, but they end up doing this whole thing over and over again. So, the other thing is, like, this isn't even the whole way around this here. It's just protecting over on that side. And you can actually go pretty much, I think it's to about this block, without having any kind of zombie coming back at you to work on this. But if you do stand like here, they're going to come around and they're going to try to take out this pillar that's supporting everything here. Okay, if we wanted to do some really quick alterations, maybe to make it a little bit better, we could do a few. I would recommend, I suppose, maybe getting some bars and such. And another thing that is nice with this is you could, well, yeah, probably the best way is to put this into advanced rotation. Come on, you. Advanced rotation, because the zombies won't be up here. I'm not sure. Let's see, we'll go on to this side first. Yeah, you could put in some rows like this. Now what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that this is underneath the, well, it's got full support down to bedrock in theory. I mean, assuming nothing has broken the bedrock below you. That way these here actually carry their own weight all the way back out here. So, and the only reason I'm adding this is I just don't want things in the future to attack me, right? So you always have to be careful here with what you're adding, because if it weighs too much, it will be a problem. How far does this go here? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is actually the limit of, like, this is where underneath here would have to be some wooden blocks if you were to do this with wood. And so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. So it's got 12. So in theory, there's maybe 2, maybe 3 spare blocks for each one of these that you could put above, but that's not really that many. I guess it would just be like 1, 2, maybe 1 on the roof. And if you're doing this, you probably should get the hang of it in creative mode, like, so it doesn't matter, because doing it for the first time in your survival game could mean that everything collapses and you could lose a lot of resources, which, well, that's not fun, is it? So, but I like this base because with the penetrator perk, it is great to take out zombies if you can get them aligned right. And yeah, if you play around with this and watch some other designs that people do, you'll see various things that are a little bit better for this area, but it's not really the main points that I want to hit on for this particular video. If people want me to do my own video series on killing corridor bases, I can certainly go into more detail. I'm going to grab some bars, maybe, if the game's UI will catch up to me here. You could put in sheets and other things, but you'll see here that this has a mass of 5 and a horizontal support of 40. So these are actually really terrible for horizontal support, but because they're so light, the amount of weight that these things can carry should be able to do this. You can always do these like tiny little calculations, right? So like this should be 15 metal blocks worth of weight on these guys, right? And so what happens here is then, because this is only 12, I've got actually another bunch of space. And because these weigh 20, in theory I could put 4 of these wooden ones out for each one of these ones out, okay? Because I have, let's say one of these sides here has got 4 blocks, or like, you know, it's 4 blocks of this that's supported all the way down there. That means there's actually a fair bit of space. Let's just use the simpler version of just like 2 extra metal blocks for each one of these ones here. Let me just go into flight mode for each one of these sides, right? This one down here has 2 extra metal blocks worth. This one has 2, this one has 2, and that one has 2, which means that there's 8 times 20 worth of weight possible on this thing. So it should be 160 worth of weight for these wooden bars. So, you know, it's not going to be a big problem. Plus, if we want it all the way back to the place where you can, you know, put some ladders up or something, it's going to be okay because they're going to support their own weight. I'll show you where. And if we go to, I don't know, let's copy rotation, but we're going to throw this into advanced rotation here, like that. Are these the wooden bars or the iron bars? These are wooden bars. Great. So these ones don't, you know, they are supported by bedrock. This one is supported by bedrock. This one is supported by this and the blocks below it. So it is totally fine right now. And should be able to go out 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to there. That's where that should be supported to by its own wooden weight. And now these blocks here should support this, these ones here. Let me see, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we said 160, and so 160 divided by 5. So 160 divided by 5 is 32 blocks. So in theory, we could put 32 blocks up here. I always try to aim for a healthy margin of error when I'm doing stuff like this, but this should be able to hold the weight of all these wooden blocks. If it collapses, I'll be a little sad, but that would protect you from, you know, anything that's flying. And then we're going to summon in some nasty things to finish off this base. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it'll stand up to demolishers and such, especially because this is kind of, these side blocks are definitely unfinished. These ones down here, they actually have a lot of ability. Let's just grab one and show you what I'm talking about. These truss have a hit points worth 1,000, which is just nice. If we were to go to steel, let's grab that guy. You know, these ones do have 7,000, which is great, but they have a explosion resistance of 150. Concrete blocks have 110 and 2,500, so they're pretty good as well, but they don't quite have the explosion resistance that a truss block does. So, you know, you have to kind of figure out all these little properties to make a really, really safe system there. And for here, I think we're gonna go and maybe put on some bars. I mean, the probability that they would jump over here is really slim, but you know, it is always good to make sure that you are as safe as you can be, right? And proper rotation, bam, bam. Okay, there we go. So that, you know, well, using wood is actually kind of silly, but you know, it should be fine. Okay, let's throw some ladders in here and a couple of other things. So if you're new to the game, just know that you can put 2 blocks high here and be able to jump onto it and not have the zombies jump onto it. Now, there are some little caveats. I mean, this wasn't going to be like something about teaching people how to jump on them. Don't try to jump on them when you're underneath these little blocks. Oftentimes you get kicked backwards because of the colliders, and if you've hit your space key while you're on it, that generally disengages your jumping or your grabbing, which then makes it kind of hard for you sometimes to get back on the second time, which you just need to do your double jump and you'll usually be back up there. Anyhow, looks like this base is pretty much done. I also wanted to hit up the one last point of saying that down here you could make a much larger fall pit, right? That would be pretty much ideal, and probably extend it back even a little bit. You could probably bring it back 1 row here, because they do oftentimes fall right into there. So we can just take this out a little bit more. This is probably high enough to cause a small amount of damage to them, but I mean, it's not really that big. And what I would probably do, in fact, is take this down to about basically a combination of this height and that height. I don't know, 20 maybe would be, that'd be more than enough, really, because you can do that, have them fall down a few blocks, maybe 8 or something, and they'll start taking damage. I'm gonna have to do a whole thing to testing that out, because I don't know if they've changed it at all in Alpha 18 here, but we're gonna test that in another video. But yeah, no matter how deep you make this, as long as this you know, whole area here ramps right back up to being flush with the ground here, they'll follow the path and go that way. Okay, let's make this Horde Night and see what we can do. Okay, so we have a bunch of 765. I've also thinking that maybe I'll just also perk into a bit of penetrator, because, you know, it's pretty darn useful for this particular type of base. So I figured I'd just mention this. Let's just buy that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points into that one. And then bam, 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 bam. 5 more points into there. There. Okay, so now, Horde Night. Let's bring this over to day 7. Thank you. And bring it up to a decent time of the day. I have no idea what my level is for, like, my game stage level. Looks like things are going well. Game stage. Looks like player game stage 75, level 57, 6 days alive, difficulty bonus, yeah, so who knows. Now, vultures might be able to get in here. That could be a bit of a bugger. And this should be okay here. I'm going to fast forward it just a smidgen along a bit more. Okay, hopefully this works. Yeah, I've already done this Horde Night, so I don't really know. But as you can see, that one ran there. Let's do some of this stuff. She runs along there, falls right down there, and then she goes along that path there. I'm gonna get a bunch of lights here. Okay, so as you can see, very easily now, she does this little fall, runs along this path. She's been falling down this side pretty regularly. I think what it is because she came from this side and just sort of is on this sort of tangent here. But she keeps on falling down, going this way, and going that way. She doesn't, even if there was a pillar here, she wouldn't bother hitting it, because the easiest path for her is to stay in this too deep ditch and just keep running that way. So as you can see, I'm nice and safe in here, at least for now. Let's summon in some more friends. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the Horde Knight mechanic, where like if you go in at the wrong time, it just doesn't load it correctly. Makes it hard for testing. Gonna say that much. Okay, we'll just make this totally artificial. Just gonna go from here, summon in ferals, and if Horde Knight happens while we're testing, that's freaking amazing. Okay, great. Okay, so let's say we have some over here, right? And we're just gonna summon in, I don't know, a bunch of let's see, look at me, and do I want to spawn? No, I don't want to spawn 25. But let's do some nurses and some of my favorite Arlenes. Okay, that's got them coming. So as you can see, they didn't end up going there. What they did is they ran right around, and this Arlene here is going to do a thing where they're like, hey, maybe I can get over here. No. What ends up happening is they see this too deep ditch and they're like, there's no reason to go over there. Ooh, my footing is a little bit weakened. I'm going to back up a smidge here. That's enough. So, let me see here. This is why maybe making this a little bit longer would be a bit better. Gives them a higher probability of falling down. But the weight is being easily carried by all that, so it's not a problem. So yeah, you can see that they keep going over there, and that's fantastic. Let's summon in some more guys. I'm going to do it over here again just so you can see that this is effective. Great, and boom. Take that, Arlene. Or Darlene. Yeah. They should run right past that. Yeah, see? Right around. And then they're hovering beneath me because they don't have any way to get to me. Oh, well, maybe if they pile up like that. So, that is a bit of a problem, but they can't really do anything. You could do the, you know, grenade launcher here if you wanted. I would say, you know, take care of these ones. I might end up falling because of this, but it's a little bit different than, you know, what I expected to be doing, because I mean, I'm just floating around here. I'm not shooting these guys at all. If I were to hop back into my character, I do have this awesome line here, possibly to shoot these guys. Reload my ammo. Yeah, changing this part here would be a good idea. But, I mean, really. Oh, how are you standing there, dear? I don't know. And, of course, actively looking at fixing all this up is another good idea. If you were to just make sure it was good and strong, I mean, I don't know, you could use these truss blocks, you could use all kinds of blocks, right? But they're not going to bug you. Now, I wanted to also show that you can stand over here, and they're like, oh, let's get him, he's over here. But it's not going to happen. So they still have their problems, they go over there. but they're not gonna very often go around there to get you. It's very rare that that will happen. There you go. Maybe a little bit further back. But my point is that generally this base works well because they don't generally hit anything here. But most bases like this of this design are designed in such a way that... Oh, they're doing some interesting stuff. Come on, reload that thing. That they won't go back there. And most people don't go that far back anyway. But I mean, you can, you know, dodge back and forth like this a little bit if there's like incoming vomit or whatever. So let's summon in some cops and have that happen. So let's see here. I'm gonna do this outside of this cage just so that they don't spawn on it and wreck my tutorial here. And I'm going to even throw in a couple demolishers because I just want to get this fully tested. So, cop, let's get in a couple of fat cops, some demolishers, zombie demolishers, great, and some vultures because I feel like torture. There, that should be perfect. So, now we have those vultures. They don't really seem to be getting in here that much. The zombies are continuing to do their little falls and such. And they are not attacking that stuff back there. Because the cops don't have a direct line of sight on me, they can't do much. Though, if I start shooting, they'll probably suddenly realize that I'm here. Great. How is this going to work? Okay, so they're going to spit, and that would be very bad for this particular base because these types of blocks are not very strong. And so you'll probably see this blow up pretty quick. Yeah, you can see they're blowing things up. So I kind of want to see what goes on here. Boom! So a lot of these blocks have taken some damage here. You can make this out of concrete. You just need to make sure that everything is balanced correctly, or you could even put like a layer of concrete on top of this, or because it doesn't have to be only one high, right? I'll probably fall down as soon as they spit at me and hits one of these, and then I'll probably fall down. But you know, hitting them. Okay, well, let's see if we can bring my base down. What does it take? Ooh. They won't... Yeah, it's basically just have to make sure from over here this is all going well. And cop. I don't know if I can finish all of these guys off. And I don't know, can we blow off the demolishers' heads? Should be able to figure that one out. Or not. Boom! Wow. Now what's going on? This base. Very curious to see how much is left. They're not even going to blow it up, so let's just take a look. Come on. There we go. So as you can see here, they've even taken out some of this level here. And because the truss is so strong, it can just carry the weight, right? So, but if you put another type of blast resistant block up here, it will be even better. So yeah, things are working well. Let's see what happens when I take out this demolisher. There would be other designs too, like if you made a trench that went down the center here, and then had it so that... Okay. Boom. Things are coming apart here. Okay, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, with a few alterations of putting, like, say, another layer of concrete on here, maybe some more width to support it from the sides, because there's another option here to do. You can do that too. I'll show that after I say goodbye. Okay, guys, if you liked that video, hit that like button and share with some friends. If you are new to the channel and want to learn more about 7 Days to Die, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in another video. Okay, so here's just a little bit of an addition that you could do, and of course you could extend this out a lot more, but by doing something like this, it gives it support up here as well. So that is an extra little goodie. And the same thing can be done over here. And I was thinking it would be kind of neat to try it with the entire side as a support structure, right? Which is totally feasible. Probably go one more down here. It'll just take me a little while to build this, so I will figure this out for you guys.